Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kissy, and as it states in my bio, I live to observe the world as we know it, and I delve into the mysteries to rediscover the truth of our nature as beings existing on this earth realm. My intentions are to share my new perspectives that are in balance with the order of the universe to serve the community and the collective interest. So, with that being said, I wanted to read from the tarot of the Orishas. I have this. I pulled a page today, and it was on the Six of Fire. It's a great message, actually. It says, 6 tired and exhausted men returned to the village after the previous sequence, rescuing a woman from the voracious and instinctive appetite of the beast. Each of them is clutching a torch, which seems to be brighter as evidence of their victory. They pull a net holding the body of the feared beast. The meaning in upright is that the village will know the outcome of the battle, and the news will quickly spread. Evil has been defeated. The beauty of the woman is reflected in the nobility and kindness of the man, who fights with justice as a weapon or tool to achieve success. The battle was a great stratagem, fought with true art and science, progress, prominence, success, and achievements. Upside down, do not let arrogance dim your achievements. It may turn away those who wish to honor you and show their admiration. Do not rest on your laurels or fall into monotony, laziness, or complete idleness. Justify yourself by your past achievements. Do not become a false idol or hero. So, I kind of had this feeling since this past full moon that we had. It does feel like a certain victory has been had, especially when it comes to a certain karmic pattern that it's I feel like the healing works itself from the outside in, like the most recent injuries, and then it's when it gets to a culmination of this is the threshold of pain that you can handle, like having a baby sort of thing, right? It's you release, but as you retrograde, right? Like with the when Mercury has been retrograding, we're able to see the last drop, or I guess the quote is the straw that broke the camel's back kind of experience is that straw. Once it falls apart, you see, oh, this is a culmination of, and then you start working your way back. You could trace it back all the way, and then you end up getting to a place of the beginning. And when you see the beginning, you're from this standpoint, it's what do you do with it? Where do you go from here now? It's okay, I'm back at the beginning, but back at one is not necessarily starting over, but it's the beginning of your story from the foundation of your from the foundation of your beginning, which you saw how it could it's there was a pattern that it's okay, it's kind of okay, it's something that it was so so many times that you just keep seeing it. It's okay, patterns get old after a while. Patterns just get old. And I think that's what it was. The pattern got old, but it was a pattern that wasn't, you didn't really look at as this, because it wasn't yours to begin with, but it was an influencing pattern over you, that affected you, but it was there. And so even though it's like you could live with a limp, right? You could live with a certain type of pain, but when you realize you don't have to, when you realize you could actually correct it, and that you could actually, there's like a level of life being peaceful, even though it's like the circumstances don't necessarily change. Your outlook of it has changed to such a degree, like a completion of a perspective. And so therefore now you can go forward with that clean slate, or go forward with that ability to like create it's like building the house on a very firm foundation. It's like, okay, you just bought a new home, or you just got the new car, the new job, whatever it is. It's like, okay, you're at this new position, you're at this new level. You can now see where you came from very clearly. Like, you're no longer in that. So from here, it's like, okay, it's exciting because you get to go forward in a new adventure. You get to go forward in a new way, and not necessarily be compartmentalized with you no longer have to deal with that. It's like, it wasn't yours to deal with. So it's like getting out of a responsibility that wasn't yours, or that isn't yours anymore. Whatever that is, it's like something's been lifted off of you. A responsibility that is not yours, removed. And it's like, wow. What a relief. What a way to be able to like sit with where you are at the moment, and be able to like observe the same story kind of playing out in a certain way, right? It's like you see the dynamics that are at play, that are out of your control, but you're able to like sit in, and without the participation of the same, like dynamic that was there before. It's like you're appreciating things from another space. So, oh, I did have some notes. Okay. So I got mother's ideal becomes a standard to meet. Father's dreams become goals to fulfill unconsciously. So for me, it was like a understanding that you don't realize that you're trying to like live up to an ideal standard that really was ultimately set by your own mother. And if not your mother, the person that nurtured you, right? If that could have been your father, but for the most part, that the one that nurtured you, that took care of you, that you looked up to prepare you for life. They kind of expose you to their ideal, and in your desire to please would then see that as an ideal. It's like that's your first ideal. It's like you can have a dream for yourself. You can have an ideal for yourself. But of course, you look up to this person, so when their ideal is expressed, and you're like, wow, that's even better. And then you just, yeah, it's even better than your infantile dream. But then you surpass their ideal for yourself. And you realize, wow, this is so much better. Then the father's dream becomes a goal to fulfill. And it's like, you can unconsciously want to chase an ambition that would, that could be pleasing, or it's like a legacy, or it's like a way of looking at the world, perhaps. A goal to fulfill. Like, your father may have had a dream, some creative dream, and possibly fulfilled it, and possibly participated in. But now it's like somehow it became a goal to fulfill. Like, if you can achieve all your dreams, it would include fulfilling this for my father, kind of thing. So I noticed what happens if, when you don't live up to it, when you oppose it, or when you do live up to it. And in many ways, you can see if you don't live up to it, depending on the relationship, either you'll be guilted or you feel guilty for not fulfilling it, because there's not a real dialogue in regards to our failures, perhaps, and being able to be real about it. Like, I didn't fulfill this because of this or that. I didn't do this because of that. And it's like, maybe that dialogue kind of opens up clearing of guilt on either part, from either part. So if you oppose it, that would feel more like that's just a matter of conflict. That's just a matter of resisting for the sake of resistance. Like, just because this is what you want, I'm going to just do the complete opposite. Just because it's better than complying with, being attached to or complying with whatever you're doing. And so what happens when we oppose it, we can negate certain dynamics. We can maybe not explore that these aspects are part of our own. It's showing up for a reason. So I would say that maybe anything that we oppose extremely or feel we need to live up to should obviously be much more explored in terms of our life journey. But anyway, okay. So the song "God Bless Mother Nature." Well, it's Raining Men. I heard the song in my head, but the part that says "God bless Mother Nature, she's a single woman too." I think she says she took on the heavens and rearranged the skies so that each and every woman can find the perfect guy. Oh, that was funny. Well, I guess maybe because I was having a conversation with my daughter. In that conversation, it's like, you think as a parent, obviously, of a daughter, a mother to a daughter, you want that daughter to be able to see the world as clearly as possible, as clearly as you're seeing it. You know what I mean? Like, any illusions you were caught up in, you don't want her caught up in them. Any forms of idealism or passivism, unhealthy patterns, whatever that is, you would want to protect them from all the ways in which you learned, or all the lessons you learned. You would at least want to, it's like, you don't have to learn the lesson I learned, but let me at least tell you what lessons I learned in case you need to reference it in your journey, on your life going forward. You know, don't make those mistakes, but it's not charged with guilt or shame or wrongness. It's we're on this journey in life, and we're making choices every day, and some choices that we make give us not good results, and those not good results need to be really sat with, so that moving forward we don't create the same not good results. We create good results. So when I try to explain that to her, she'll roll her eyes, and she'll kind of huff, and her arms kind of, oh my God, mother, it's like, okay, fine, I won't tell you anything. But why does it have to be like that? Why does it have to be like it's a lecture? It's not a lecture. I mean, I would appreciate a genuine conversation over tea, over coffee, grown woman conversation. I would have appreciated that 1,000-fold as a teenager. I think maybe that's why I did like to hang out with older folks, because when it wasn't my own mother, and it was maybe the neighbors or whatever, I would be more who I was. It was I would be in my adultness with my mom's friends, the neighbors. And so, but when my mom was there, I would be a child. And this is also with family, my aunts and stuff like that. So it's it was easy for me to be an adult outside of the home than it was to be at home an adult. And so when I try to explain to my daughter, you may want to reconsider some choices or some ways of how you're looking at this situation, or from which stance you're taking these actions or making these choices. At least listen to options. At least listen to another perspective. Be open to new perspectives that are meant to be useful, beneficial, helpful for your journey moving forward. Why resist that? Who resists that? And then I kind of start to remember when I was her age, and my mom would say to me, "Son, it wasn't what she was saying, it was the delivery with which she was saying it. If she was saying something critical, well, why don't they do this that way, or why don't you do this like that?" And it was a criticism on my character, even though the argument was justified. It was to my benefit. She was meaning for it to be to my benefit, but the way it was being done was by attacking my character in order to make her point. So when I talk to my daughter, I'm more conscious not to attack her character to make my point. It's not about attacking the character to make a point. It's about expressing the lesson learned. I don't need to mope around and tell you all my woes and all the ways that I had to learn the hard way. So I'll eliminate your boredom by just getting to the freaking point. And the point is, child of mine, daughter. The point is that when someone comes to you that you have determined is more experienced than you, is responsible for you, because in some way you depend on this individual. If my daughter could live on her own, she should. But if she cannot and she depends on me, that means I know better for her, because she's still a child. So it's that can be in adult relationships too, when like the new person in an office comes in, they're the child of the office because they don't know the ways of the company yet. They don't know the ways of the managers yet. So they get introduction. They get told how to work, who's who and what's what, and this is how this is done. They show you the environment. So this is like a big sibling energy, or a parental energy that is preparing you, teaching you from their experience, from their vantage point, to give you an advantage. So that when you get to that space, or when you get to that when you come across that scenario in your life, which when it comes to relationships is not much has changed. When it comes to romantic partnerships, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to trust and connections, not much has changed in terms of how we should be treated and how we should treat others. So it's like, and if I can see through a lot of these little, it's like, okay, is it necessary to pass on the torch? Is it necessary to give someone information if they don't want the value of what it brings? If they don't even know what it's for. They don't even know what they're I don't know. I guess that's free will. So anyway, I did notice that's I don't know why, but it came through as someone wants to get burned. This person has this person is a glutton for punishment. But it came across as like someone that this is like a masculine that enjoys a buffoon. It's kind of funny. They find humor and pleasure in a certain kind of way to submit to a certain type of authority. It's I guess in some ways intoxicating. Any hoots. So I'm trying to remember if there was anything else. I know there was maybe like a song or two that came through. Back to the Orisha book. That message, it did come through, and it made me think of like today just felt different in terms of the charge of energy, like from the release of that karmic, it's like a release of an old karmic energy, right? So that release, you can feel the lightness of it. See the completion. It's one of those things that you didn't know you needed, but when, you know what it feels like? Oh my, I have to pause. I'll be back, guys.